So in my lily pad library, I do have a whole lot of folders, and you can see them all along the side. Now, some of these are smart folders, some of these are automatically generated by Eagle, and some of these folders are just the folders that I put in here. I've left a few of them not categorized the way they should be so that I could show you how I do that. So inside my lily pad folder, I do have a folder for each of the lily pad designers. The reason I do it this way is I am on the creative team at LilyPad, and that way I can easily move a folder out if somebody leaves and not have to worry about moving each of their individual kits. It's also easier for me because quite often I can think of a designer because I'm so familiar with their work and I can think, oh, I need an alpha. Allison has a lot of really great alphas. So I know I can just click straight to her folder and I can start browsing through her alphas and see which one it is that appeals to me. Or I may remember that she has a specific alpha, like I remember that she has this great one for a pop up black alpha. I know that's in Allison's. I can look there to go find it. Um, that's why I keep each one of my designers has their own folder, and then all of their kits are inside that. For example, here's all of my Nini Goes Digi kits. They are all inside the Nini Go Digi folder, which is then inside the LilyPad folder. That just works for me. If you have a different way that you keep your folders, then it should just be able to import just fine, just the same way with no issues. To add something into your library, you go up here to this little add box and then you would click, and you can't see this menu, but underneath this menu, there's an option that says import from folder. That's what I prefer because I like the manual of making sure that it imports where I want it to import and that I get it from the right spot. And that way, if I accidentally drop a kit into the wrong spot, I don't have to worry about the auto import accidentally pulling it in. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead, and I know you can't see what I'm importing, but you should see it import. Once you hit that import from folder, it does come up and it asks you where. All of mine go to my downloads, so I'm just importing straight from my downloads. Once I do, it comes over here and you'll notice it's at the very, very bottom of my thing. Whenever you import something, it will always show up to this very bottom. For me, this is a template set by Scrapping with Liz, Fun Size Photos. What I like to do the first thing is I find that preview. This is a small kit, so I'm not worried about where the preview is. On larger kits, what I will do is I will right click, and it is not showing you that menu. Let me see if I can make it show that menu. When you right click on an item, you have a whole other group of menus here. The one that I use the most within this menu is I use pin to top, which will now make that preview right there be at the top. You can see the little pin right here in the corner. That tells me what's pinned. I'll show you on a larger kit when I do big collections. For example, I believe this So Naughty has a big collection. I will pin all of the previews that are in here to that top because then it is easier for me when I open it up. I can be like, oh, okay, there's an alpha in here, there's the elements, there's the papers, especially when you get into some of the really big kits. It's easier to see for me. So with this one, I will also change this and I will say set as folder cover. Once I say set as folder cover, it will go in and it's hard to see in this view, but if you notice this one right here, with this would be good. I've gone ahead and made all of the different woods are up here at the top. I've pinned them all. And then when you go into Allison's folder, you can see, I love this little button at the top. Let me have it show up for me. That takes me all the way to the top without the subfolder showing. But you can notice on the alphas, I've done the same thing. You can see that each one of the kits has the kit as the folder. That is all that happens when you choose to have it set the image as a folder cover. You can set multiple images, and you'll notice over here what it will look like. If you choose multiple images and set as folder cover, this right here in this corner is what it's going to look like. I prefer just to have the main preview be the folder cover. The other thing that I do like to do with templates specifically, because I often do look for them by photos is I will put in about how many photo spots there are. Now, most of my photo spots are a dash, so 2 to 3 photos, 4 to 5 photos. One that I use often because I don't have a lot that use a ton of photos is 6+ photos. So I'll go ahead and I'll add that 6+ photos tag. And you can either start typing. You'll notice that's the only one that I have. And when I click there, I can see it went into place right there. So there we go. That one is a 6+ photos right there. And then I also have one that I use specifically for pocket type pages, which this one could fall into both. Right here, it's still more than 6. And because they're all more than 6, I'm just going to go ahead and select all of them. Come over here and I'm going to add in 6+photos. That way, when I do just choose to use a tag and pull up 6+photos, these ones will all come in. Another thing that I really do appreciate about Eagle and I think is really awesome and has helped a lot with my scrapbooking is I have been able to add in, you'll notice on the side that there's tags, notes, and then there's also this really cool little spot that says multiple URLs. Now, multiple URLs, I think that's actually referring to it thinks there's multiple URLs, which there's actually none. But what I can do is I can take the URL, I have all of these photos selected, and I can type right into here, and I just added the URL that would open straight up to the LilyPad site. Go ahead and save that, and things will automatically save when you move away from the spot. So now, if I go to use this for crediting, I can just go, oh, hey, look, there's my link. If I want to make sure it's still in the store, if I click this little button right here, it will open up and it will show me it is still in the store. Here's the page that it shows me. So I can open right to the link, make sure it's still current if that's a concern for certain challenges. And if not, I still just have the link where it was so I can find it. In notes, I don't tend to use that, but I could see using it for things like, say you bought a kit for a very specific purpose, you could make a note in there of what purpose you bought it for, and then you'd be able to search those notes later. Yeah, I don't have any notes. I have yes, no, I think those are just the standard that come in there. Now, I don't need this right here. I actually need this to go up here to the Scrapping with Liz folder. For this one, I'm just going to show you the drag and drop method. So you just grab this, pull it, and you'll notice it's blue. And then as soon as that whole thing is lit up blue, I can let go. And it will again come to the very bottom of her folder. So there it is right there. In order to alphabetize them, if you click within the folder and you just tell it to sort by, tell it, yep, sort by the list, you'll notice that it's no longer here at the bottom. It has moved up to, let's see, fun size. It has moved up right here into the F's where it belongs. That was easy. She was right near the thing. But I have 2 down here that are Allison Pennington, and you'll notice Allison's all the way up here. If you don't want to drag, you can right click again and choose Move Folder. And then you can tell it, where do you want it to go? If you see this blue line and then the gray underneath, that means it's going to go right above that. It is not going to go into Allison's folder. It's going to go right between A Whimsical Adventure and Allison. I'm going to make sure her shoulder shows as blue. It's going to confirm that with me. Do I really want to move this? Yep, I really do want to move that. And then again, it will show up here at the very bottom. Go ahead and make that one small. And you'll notice that they're disappearing from down here. So I can do the same thing with Limery, which she's pretty close, so I'm just going to drag it. And you'll notice it has a 2 there because I'm dragging more than one. I like those little reminders. Hey, did you mean to move all of this? Do you realize that you're moving all of this? It's really nice that it shows you that way. So that is all of those items that I had at the bottom that I'd imported. I've now sorted them all out, so there's nothing here at the bottom. This one, I will show you. This designer actually retired from the LilyPad. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add it to a different library. I'm going to go ahead and move it over to this other designer's library. I have a different video that talks about how I divided my libraries. But once that's done, you'll notice it was really quick, but it did show at the top that said task complete. So I'll go ahead and I'll move that to other designers again. It's going to affect all of these items. Yep, it said task finished. I can now delete from here. So I can remove the folder, go ahead and move it to the trash. Move the folder, go ahead and move it to the trash. And then when I go into my other designers folder, and it will take just a moment to bring up, here at the bottom, oh, sorry, it's in alphabetical order for this one. So right here is where those two items fell in, under the GS ones. So that is the basics of how I import into Eagle and how I organize within Eagle. And I just noticed, I'm not sure why these project mouse cards are in such a weird spot, but they are. So this, when it imported, obviously did not get everything taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and set that as the folder cover. I'll go ahead and I'll pin that to the top so it's the very first thing. And those are the two basic things. I do have some other things in here that are lily pad and are also not lily pad, such as the styles folder has things in it. A lot of these belong to Sahin Designs. I do also have some fonts in here. Fonts are something I'll show you in a different video. They're actually really cool the way that Eagle will use them for you. And then I do have DYD is actually lily pad. I just haven't sorted those things out to make sure that they're in here correctly. You'll notice that things like A Christmas Story is the preview on that folder instead of it actually being this folder, this Christmas Story folder right here. So that's what it should be instead of it being the, and now that I've set that, you should be able to see when I go back. See, it's changed over. So now it is the, and I can even change it here, say no, set that one as the folder, and it changes and it updates automatically. I will do a smart photo demonstration for you now. So in my smart folders, I have them sorted by color. I most often am looking for a specific color when I can't find something, and I'm not sure why my red folder has a bunch of brown in the front, but it must just be the shade of red that I chose, which is a good showing point. So if I open up the orange folder, you can see that I have a lot of orange. It does lean into the pink a little bit. What I have set up for this smart folder is, if I edit the rules, it'll show you. So I have a folder called orange. I picked a very basic orange color, and so if it is similar to that color, then it will go ahead and it'll pull it up. If I pick almost the same, you're going to notice that right now I have 28,100. If I pick almost the same, it actually will drop it down to 6,800. That's probably going to be a good starting spot for it, but I can also leave it up at the similar and leave it at the larger one. The advantage of that is if I scroll through here, I can see a lot more different shades of orange. So I can go, oh, I like this orange right here, and then I can tell it to just show me similar colors to that, and it will narrow that orange folder down to still 23,000 options, but you'll notice that there's a lot more of a consistent orange color. And that is the same for all of them. My orange and my yellow are a little large right now. I like my blue. I wanted it to be more of a darker blue, so my blue colors tend to be a darker one. I do also have a teal one down here because I do enjoy using teal in a lot of things. So this pulls just my teal colors. And it will pull, you'll notice alphas, it'll pull papers, it will pull strings, it will pull anything where it finds that teal color. That can also mean, let's see, oh, so for example, you may not think of this as a very teal color alphabet, but because it does have that section of teal in the middle of that alpha, you'll see it. And you'll see that with a couple of things where I'm looking for a good example. It may not seem like there's much teal, but because the computer is smarter than me, it finds any little bit of teal in there. And so when it does find it, it automatically adds it to this folder for me. And the teal folder is pretty good. I guess you can see it pretty decently with the orange. This doesn't seem very orange, but it is a little bit orange in those peachy spots, and that's one of the reasons why it's going to go ahead and pop into this orange, because I said similar to instead of saying to find them that are almost the same. Almost the same is going to narrow that down a lot more. It's probably more what I look for when I'm looking for an orange, so I will go ahead and leave it at that one. Yellow is another one that's kind of a hard color because you'll notice that so many spots, they'll fade. Like this one just has that little bits of yellow in the corners, and yet it pops up in here. This one just has little bits of yellow where it matches, and so it pops up in here. If I go ahead and I can edit that rule and tell it to be almost the same, and now you'll see a lot more of the yellow color that I would be looking for, and it went from having, well, it was like 20,000 down to only 8,000. Red is the same way. I do have some of these brown reds just because there happens to be a little spot that's close to my red color. Black is just going to be large because black is on so many things. It's very hard to narrow it down more than that. So you'll notice that there's a lot of colorful things that just have little bits of black, as well as the stuff that has a whole lot of black in it. But this is a really also a decent way to see a lot of word art because there's a lot of black word out that belongs in my scrapbooking supplies. So that is an overview of the Smart Folder section, and then the folder section, which are the ones that I imported specifically. At the top is just the way that Eagle categorizes everything. I have not categorized a single kit, so you'll notice it, I'm not sure why it says nothing's uncategorized because I haven't categorized anything. This is everything that is not tagged. I do not use tags very much with Eagle. I have another video where I show that I search by color. I can also just come up here and search by item, but I do not do hardly any tagging. You saw I do tag when it comes to specific photo spots on templates, and that's because there's not a smart way that I found to have it figure out how many template spots are there. These are the few tags. Some of these are tags that already belonged to an item from a previous program that I used when I brought it in. They're not tags that I have necessarily given everything. I do tag some things for a challenge. I was doing a washi challenge, so I did tag some washi tape that came in, mostly because this was called tape and not washi tape. So that I sometimes will tag if it's a specific purpose that I bought it for. But I hope that answers your basic questions about how I import the folders and how I use the smart folders in Eagle.